Ground gas closeouts is starting. Gas closeouts complete.
Go for launch.
Minutes, 30 seconds. Minutes, 15 seconds.
Vehicle's flight pressures.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Vehicle's pushing downrange.
And we're beginning deep throttle. Center core at deep throttle.
Plus 33 seconds into flight. Under the power of 5.1 million pounds of thrust, Falcon Heavy is headed to space. We're throttling down at T plus 40 seconds to prepare for maximum dynamic pressure.
Power and telemetry are nominal.
We're hearing reports. Power and telemetry are nominal.
Vehicle supersonic.
You may have heard the call out on Net 1.
Stepping up.
Vehicle is supersonic. Side boosters are throttling back up on power as we're through the period of maximum dynamic pressure. Trajectory looking good. You can hear the applause behind me as we've gotten past maximum dynamic pressure. Next event coming up is chill-in of the MVAC-D engine. Get the turbo pumps ready to ignite the main engine on the second stage in another couple of minutes. Merlin engine performance looks good. We've begun dropping power on the side boosters to decrease loads on the center core.
Second load limiting shutdown.
Continuing to decrease loads to minimize acceleration on the Falcon Heavy structure. Coming up on booster engine cutoff, called BECO, and separation of the two side boosters.
MVAC engine chill.
BECO.
Booster separation confirmed.
Successful separation, if you can hear me over the cheering. Side boosters now beginning a flip to begin returning back to Cape Canaveral.
Boost back burn.
Side boosters have begun the boost back burn. The center core has throttled back up to power. Everything looking good on the flight of Falcon Heavy. The next major event, main engine cutoff of the center core and separation ignition of the second stage. Bottom middle view shows the view looking up into the nozzle of the second stage engine.
Miko.
Main engine cut off. Center core shut
Stage
down.
separation confirmed. Impact ignition.
Again, over the cheering. MVAC-D engine up on power. It looks good. Side boosters looking good. Still burning on their way back to Cape Canaveral. Grid fins are out on the center core.
Fairing separation confirmed.
Here comes the fairing separation, and there it goes. We also have successful shutdown of the side booster boost back burn. So T plus 4 minutes, 25 seconds into flight. Side boosters on their way back to Cape Canaveral. Center core coasting out
Stage
over
2
the Atlantic.
trajectory nominal.
Stage 2 looking good with a nominal trajectory.
And as you guys have noticed, the grid fins have deployed on the side boosters as well as the center core. Those work to help guide the boosters back to a nice targeted soft landing. You can see those heading home right now. As a reminder, today we'll be attempting to recover all 3 of the first stage cores, and all 3 boosters are currently on their way heading home. In just a few minutes, the side boosters will execute an entry burn, followed by a landing burn, and the center core will do much the same a few minutes later. Both burns are meant to slow the stage's speed down rapidly before landing.
At the time of separation, the side boosters were traveling slow enough to turn around and make their way
Stage
back to
2
land at our
flight guidance.
side-by-side landing pads. The center core, on the other hand, is going too fast to efficiently return to the Cape, so we're using our autonomous drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You. If we have a successful landing today, the side boosters will be reflown on our next Falcon Heavy mission, STP-2. Now, coming up at about T plus 6 minutes will be the side boosters re-entry burn.
Position of signal Bermuda.
So you'll see the side boosters on your left and right screen.
Side booster entry burn has started.
And there's the re-entry burn beginning.
Stage 2 trajectory nominal.
And the re-entry burn is complete for the side boosters. Now, coming up in about 30 seconds, the center core, which you see on your center screen, will begin its re-entry burn.
Stage 1 entry burn has started. Side boosters are transonic.
And there you can see the re-entry burn for center core has begun. Coming up in about 5 seconds here, the side boosters landing burn will begin as well.
Side booster landing burn has started.
See the side boosters coming down. An amazing view. You can hear our crowd going crazy right now. Both side boosters has landed on our landing pads. Zone 1 and Zone 2. What an amazing sight to see.
Now we're waiting for the engine to shut down on the second stage and for the center core to land. Now, if all goes well, we'll have successfully recovered all 3 boosters, which we have never done before. Now, coming up in about 20 seconds, we're going to listen for confirmation of SECO 1 or second engine cutoff 1.
Ship AOS.
Back shutdown.
And we have confirmation.
Center core
Now we're
is
just waiting to hear good orbit.
Nominal orbit insertion.
And we have that confirmed. Good orbit.
Now, coming up here in about 15 seconds will be the center core landing burn beginning. So again, as we mentioned earlier, this is going to be a challenging landing.
Stage 1, landing
And we
radar
are
starting.
landing on our drone ship. Of course, I still love you. And
Center core runway temperature hold.
looks like we lost the live view. Waiting for some confirmation, and it sounds like we landed the center core on our drone ship. We have landed the center core for the first time on our drone ship. Of course, I still love you. For the first time, we've landed all 3 boosters for Falcon Heavy. What an amazing day. So now we are going to take a quick break. You can hear our crowd going wild. 3 for 3 boosters today on Falcon Heavy. What an amazing accomplishment. So now the primary mission is still going well. We are about to enter the coast phase, so we're going to take a quick break. But we'll leave you with an animation that shows you where we are throughout the coast phase. We will be back at about T plus 26 minutes for second stage relight and the deployment of our satellite.
Welcome back to the webcast for the Arabsat 6A Falcon Heavy mission. We're at T plus 26 minutes, 45 seconds. Second stage with the satellite is about to cross the equator, west coast of Africa. So far today, if you missed it, you missed a great show. Liftoff right on time, 35 minutes after the hour. Side boosters separated as planned. 2 successful landings on landing zone 1 and 2. Center core shut down, second stage separated. Second stage went into the desired parking orbit, where we are right now. And the center core executed a toasty landing out in the Atlantic Ocean on the drone ship. Now coming up in about 20 seconds, we're going to get ignition, about a brief reignition of the upper stage engine to carry the payload into the desired transfer orbit.
And back ignition.
Confirmation of ignition. We are up at the desired power. Tank pressure looks good. The turbine temps look good. You may have seen just before ignition the large white fluffy pieces moving away. That is solid oxygen. The stuff you breathe, it's so cold that it's solid, but it is not very dense. It's very fluffy, and it is actually attached to one of the liquid oxygen overboard drain lines that we use. So coming off is normal. Now this burn is about an 85-second burn. In that time, we'll add 2,800 meters per second to our velocity. That's more than the side boosters provided early in flight, almost as much as what the center core gave us. We've throttled down the engine to keep accelerations below the limit for our Arabsat customer. Everything continues to look good. The views of the nozzle of the upper stage engine coming from 2 SpaceX cameras on either side of the second stage. Continuing to throttle down, and we have shut down.
And back shutdown.
Right now we're waiting to hear what the final orbit looks like.
Nominal orbit insertion.
Guidance engineer over one of the nets announced nominal orbit insertion. Right where we want to be, we're on a path that'll take us almost 90,000 kilometers up above the Earth. Well, now we're in the good orbit we wanted. We're going to coast for the next 5 minutes or so. We'll be back with continuing coverage at T+33 minutes for the final step in today's mission, deployment of the Arabsat 6A satellite. Welcome back. T+33 minutes, 29 seconds since liftoff. We're about half a minute away from the deployment of the Arabsat 6A satellite. Now, currently the second stage has begun a slow spin up. That'll help stabilize the satellite. It'll retain that spin when it separates from the second stage. Now, currently the camera view has switched forward looking at the Arabsat 6A spacecraft. And if you've just joined us now, you've missed a great day. Both side boosters landed at the Cape. Center core landed, second stage right in the desired orbit. And now we're waiting for separation.
Spacecraft separation confirmed.
The payload tonight is a geostationary communications satellite, which will provide state-of-the-art communication services to customers in the Middle East and Africa.
Tonight's launch window is about 2 hours long, and we're planning to launch at the top of that window. If we're unable to launch tonight, our backup window opens up on Saturday, April 13th. We're currently at T-14 minutes and counting, and all systems are go in Cape Canaveral.
Today, Falcon Heavy will deliver the Arabsat 6A payload to its intended orbit more than 20,000 miles above the Earth's equator. That's significantly higher than normal, which is why we're flying a Falcon Heavy. Now let's take a closer look at the rocket. Falcon Heavy is essentially 3 Falcon 9 rockets strapped together, which means it can carry much larger payloads not only to Earth orbit, but to the Moon and Mars as well. Like the Falcon 9, Falcon Heavy is a 2-stage launch vehicle. The big difference, of course, is that the Falcon Heavy first stage is comprised of 3 cores, and Falcon 9 only has 1. Each one of these cores has 9 Merlin 1D engines, making for a total of 27 engines overall, as you can see on your screen. Now, altogether, these engines produce over 5 million pounds of thrust, equal to 18 747s at takeoff. In fact, the engines produce so much power that we don't run them at full thrust all at once until after liftoff. For the mission today, each one of these 3 Falcon 9 boosters is brand new. It's also going to be the first time we are flying Falcon Heavy with our upgraded Block 5 cores, which feature more lift capacity, a beefed-up heat shield, and other changes to make the boosters more reliable and easier to reuse.
During ascent, Falcon Heavy will throttle its thrust up and down on both side boosters and the center core to balance aerodynamic and structural loads on the vehicle. About 70% of the way through the first stage burn, the 2 side boosters will separate and come back to Earth for a simultaneous landing at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station on Landing Zone 1 and Landing Zone 2. At this point, the mission will proceed just like a standard Falcon 9 flight. The center core will keep firing for another minute, then we'll perform a standard stage separation from the second stage. We will attempt to land the center core on our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You, which is currently stationed about 535 nautical miles off the coast of Florida in the Atlantic Ocean. It's worth mentioning that for this mission, bringing back the center core is challenging. If we are able to land all 3 cores tonight, it will be particularly exciting. The second stage is exactly the same as any other Falcon 9 flight. Tonight, the second stage will be sending our payload to geosynchronous transfer orbit. The spacecraft will then maneuver into a geostationary orbit more than 20